Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to catch you up on some new chaos on the GameStop front. It looks like the GameStop thing. I remember the GameStop saga, all the chaos that was going on just a few weeks ago. It ain't over yet. It ain't over yet. There is a big lawsuit that's been filed. I'm going to tell you guys about the lawsuit against a guy named Roaring Kitty, who kind of led the whole GameStop rebellion. And we're going to talk about that on the Black Financial Channel. So get comfortable, hit the thumbs up button. We're going to get started right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. I want to talk to you guys about some developments in the whole GameStop front. A lot of you think that the GameStop saga is over. I told you guys before that this isn't over. The GameStop situation, to me, wasn't the end of anything. It was actually the beginning of a whole nother world of investing. And so here's some developments in terms of what's going on here. I want to begin by also saying hello to my friends. I see Amun Raw Dog, you were first, Isaac, Gary, Seeker of Self, Brandon Hubbard, AJRX. Good to see you. All right, so here's what's going on. So if you remember, give me a yes or no if you remember what went down with GameStop and all the chaos that was happening there. I've been talking about that consistently. I've also been talking about it even on my Twitch channel. If you're a gamer and you want to hear me talk crazy about stocks and also blow people's heads off on Call of Duty, you can follow me on Twitch, or you can go to drboycetwitch.com. My Twitch handle is Bo Watkins. And one of the things I was talking about the other day, actually, on the Twitch channel, is that this whole GameStop situation represented something that is really not good when it comes to investing. It's almost like, you know what it is? Let me give you an example. Sort of having the world jump into investing, it makes me very happy, as a finance professor. I've been for years trying to talk to young people about investing, and I'm glad that our community is embracing that. But sometimes you can have a little too much too fast. It's like if you're trying to teach your child about the birds and the bees, you don't want your child to go to an X-rated website to learn about the birds and the bees, right? Because they're not gonna get the picture. They're gonna get a whole different perception of what it means to make love to another human being, because they can't see the whole picture. They're seeing one section of the picture, which is a very dangerous section of the picture. So what's going on right now is that the GameStop saga, it was presented to everybody as this whole Robin Hood, rob the rich, give to the poor. No. You were taking from the poor and taking from the rich. And there were people that got paid. Rich people got paid. Poor people got paid. More rich people made money than poor people, because that's what rich people do. Rich people on Wall Street, they know how to hustle. They know how to navigate the game. They know how to wiggle and move when the conditions change. So don't think that we screwed the big man, because the big man's still going to get paid. So here's what's going on right now. Roaring Kitty, there was a guy named Roaring Kitty, aka Keith Gill, who was one of the leaders in what was called the Reddit rebellion. And Roaring Kitty is now being sued in court in this massive lawsuit, basically by one of the people who went along with the whole frenzy of Reddit. Like, he went along, he's like, yeah, dude, let's go charge. Yeah, let's go get him, dude. Right? Well, let me tell you about this. This is interesting. I'm going to read some of this to you from Bloomberg. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. It says Keith Gill, one of the most influential voices that pushed GameStop on the WallStreetBets Reddit forum, was hit with a lawsuit that accused him of misrepresenting himself as an amateur investor and profiting by artificially inflating the price of the stock. The proposed class action against Gill, who adopted the YouTube nickname Roaring Kitty, was filed Tuesday in federal court in Massachusetts. The suit said Gill was actually a licensed securities professional who manipulated the market to profit himself. Gill touted GameStop shares through an extensive social media presence on YouTube, Twitter, and Reddit, where he used a more profane alias. Gill, quote, Gill's deceitful and manipulative conduct, not only, how lawyers do. Lawyers try to get that, they're trying to get that bread. So they're going to make you sound like you Charles Manson up in his mug. So he's like, Gill's deceitful and manipulative conduct not only violated numerous industry regulations and rules, but also various securities laws by undermining the integrity of the market for GameStop shares, the suit said. He caused enormous losses, not only to those who bought options contracts, but also to those who fell for Gill's act and bought GameStop stock during the market frenzy at greatly inflated prices. So what they're basically saying is that your boy did a pump and dump. That basically he went out and told everybody to go buy it, and he was pretending to be like a novice investor, like, hey, I don't know what's going on in the market like you guys. I'm just wild and crazy. And got everybody to go buy it. Price goes up, and then Gill gets paid, and then he quietly sneaks out the back door because he knows what's coming after the party's over. He knows what the crash is going to look like. So they're claiming that he made money by manipulating people who were what we call in finance uninformed investors. Let me break this down for you real quick. They have a saying in China. I taught finance to students in China a few years ago, and one of my students told me that they have a famous saying in China that says that the fattest pig always gets slaughtered. They teach them this when they're little because they basically, in China, the culture is very different. Here, you have people that are attention seekers and attention whores and will do anything for attention and try to get likes and shares and show a little booty on Instagram, whatever it takes to get people to hit the like button because you're addicted to that. You want to stand out. You want attention. In China, they don't do that. In China, they want to fit in. They want to literally fit in so much that you can't distinguish them from the other people. This starts in childhood. I asked my student to explain this to me. They said when you're a kid, you're told to sit there and sit on your hands and listen to the teacher, and you don't talk, right? And I said, you guys are the most well-behaved students I've ever had, but you're disturbingly well-behaved because I'm kind of used to my students asking questions. And so anyway, this saying that they had, that the fattest pig always gets slaughtered, was built on this idea that says, if you stand out, if you become the peacock, if you're trying to get all the attention, then you're gonna get more attention than you bargained for. You're gonna get the attention that's gonna cause you to be the target of every hater, every beggar, every person, every gossiper, anybody that wants a piece of what you got is gonna come at you because you're standing out like a peacock. That's why I say these rappers are stupid when they run around bragging about how much money they have. Billionaire Mike Roberts came on this channel, and one thing Mike Roberts said, he's a billionaire, very close to it, is he said, rich people are loud, wealthy people whisper. Because wealthy people understand the game. They hide in the shadows. They don't want you to know that they're pulling the levers from behind the scenes. So where does this apply to Roaring Kitty in this lawsuit? Well, Roaring Kitty was the fattest pig. Roaring Kitty, when the battle was going on and everybody thought it was the coolest thing in the world, Roaring Kitty got all the attention. Roaring Kitty got all the hype. Roaring Kitty was the man. Roaring Kitty got to be on all the TV shows. And Roaring Kitty even did something that a lot of smart, wealthy people don't do. He went on and said, hey, I'm a millionaire now. That was when GameStop stock hit 20. I said, he was a millionaire when the stock hit 20. Well, how much money did he have when the stock hit 100? How much money did he have when the stock hit 200? This dude got crazy paid. So what they're alleging in this lawsuit, and I'm going to tell you why some of this lawsuit's a little bit of BS, not complete BS, but a little bit of BS. What they're alleging in the lawsuit is that Roaring Kitty was running game the whole time. That basically he was pretending to be some crazy college kid who didn't know what he was doing, was just out burning money, and people get caught up in that. That's why I tell y'all not to be sheeps. Give me a yes or no. If you've ever heard me push you and challenge you to be critical thinkers, you can't be scared to go against the grain. I have no problem going against the grain because I have confidence in my beliefs. Even if they're wrong, I'll just say, well, I'm wrong. I have confidence in the fact that I'm going to be wrong. So I'm okay with being wrong. But you got to think for yourself, because if you don't, people will play you. They will use you. They will use you in politics. They will use you in business. They will use you in every aspect of life. You must be a critical thinker. So a lot of these stupid little sheep, not all of them, not everybody on Reddit's a stupid little sheep. They're not stupid. I don't want to be mean. But a lot of the dumb little sheep literally follow behind Roaring Kitty, who is the Pied Piper, saying, come follow me, dudes. Come on, let's buy this crappy stock and let's inflate the price so we can go stick it to the hedge fund guys. And then Roaring Kitty got paid. A lot of these kids got body slammed. I read in this article that this lawsuit was filed by the securities class action firm Higgins, Berman, Sobel, and Shapiro. That's a very long name, but I bet they ain't black. On behalf of Christian Lovin of Washington State and similarly situated individuals. Lovin, now let me tell you what this guy did. Lovin, who's suing, apparently this is Roaring Kitty's fault that he messed up. Right, I'm with you, Brandon. Brandon says it can't be Roaring Kitty's fault. And I'm going to tell you, part of me agrees with you. And let me tell you why. Lovin sold $200,000 worth of call options on GameStop shares when the stock was below $100. The stock eclipsed $400 a share, forcing him to buy the calls back at elevated prices. Take a deep breath, boys, before you break this down, because you don't want to be mean. All right. Let me just tell you how ridiculously stupid that move was. What this guy did is what is in option theory. In options, we call this a naked call option. He wrote a naked call option. That means basically that you put yourself in a position, it's like jumping off a building with no parachute and hoping that you find a parachute on the way down. Literally, if things go wrong, there is no limit to how much money you can lose when you write a naked call option. So imagine, it's called naked for a reason. Imagine going out into a battlefield where everyone's got armor and weapons, and you go out totally naked, no weapons, no armor, no nothing. You're vulnerable. You're very, very vulnerable. So he wrote a naked call option. So when the stock price went, so he put himself in the same position as the short sellers, just, but it's actually an even worse position. And when the stock price went up, he had to cover that naked call that he wrote, and he had to buy the stock back at an inflated price, because basically he gave people the right to buy the stock from him at a certain strike price. The stock goes way past the strike price, so basically they're coming back and they're exercising these calls, and he's got to get these shares to deliver. So my point is to say this: look, God protects babies and fools, like E40 said in the song. You're not a baby or a fool. He actually says that in one of his songs. Therefore, you ain't got no excuse. Those literally are his lyrics. And I agree. Unless you're a baby or unless you're a fool, then you don't deserve to be protected. Now, maybe he deserves to be protected because our government believes in protecting fools. This was a very bad move. It was extremely risky. And what's unfortunate is that in many cases, there are people who will want to be grown. They want to be free to do what they want when they're taking the risk. But then when the risk goes bad, they want to blame somebody else. So honestly, I think that this lawsuit is stupid. I think that you can't blame Roaring Kitty for what he did. I think the judge is going to throw the case out. There is no securities law that I'm aware of that says that he violated securities law. At best, you could say that perhaps now, if it turned out that he had inside information about GameStop, perhaps. But I think it's a bunch of BS. And also, so in his defense, when he wrote back his defense, he basically claims that he had no, let me see, what did Gill say in response to the lawsuit? He says, I did not solicit. Now, this is a kind of BS too. That's what lawsuits become. That's why going to court sucks, man. I mean, like when you get money and stuff, like people are going to sue you because it just happens. But it's stupid because you end up throwing BS at BS. That's kind of, so his BS in response to the original BS is he says, I did not solicit anyone to buy or sell the stock for my own profit. Gill plans to testify. I did not belong to any groups trying to create movements in the stock price. Yes, you did. You were on the Reddit forum. You know that. I never had any financial relationship with any hedge fund. That's true. I had no information about GameStop except what was public. That's probably true too. I did not know any people inside the company. I never spoke to any insider. That is absolutely true. But one of the things that you did have access to is you had access to power. You had the ability to influence the market. You had the ability to convince millions of people to follow the leader and go buy this stock, which means that you had the ability to manipulate the stock price like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. You had the magic fingers where everybody's watching Roaring Kitty, everybody's hearing what you have to say, and these young guys who don't know any better, who never took a class from people like me, are going to follow you because they trust you, right? And I'm going to say that in general, and I think y'all understand this because these are intelligent black people that tend to watch my platform. Y'all understand when I tell you, don't trust anybody. Don't even trust me. Verify things before you make a move. And then that way, if things go bad, you can say, that's my bad. You don't want to be in a horrible situation like this guy. He probably lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't want to be in a situation like him where you're like, man, I lost all this money. I lost all my family wealth, but it's his fault. He did it. Well, yeah, I get that. I do get it. I get it, right? Like you go, like sometimes things happen. Like you go to the doctor and the doctor says, we're going to amputate your left leg. And then they put you out and then you find out they amputated your right. Well, then, yeah, that sucks, right? Because you didn't, it's not your fault. But in this particular case, GameStop was not worth more than $20 a share. Everybody knew that. They were in this together. They were all doing the pump and dump together. They were playing a game of economic chicken with the universe. And the thing about a game of chicken is that if you keep driving the car, eventually you're going to crash. Some people jump out of the car before the car actually crashes. Some people stayed in the car and boom, they crashed and exploded. So this is just beginning. Right now, the heads of Robinhood, Vlad Tenev, I think that's the CEO's name, is going to testify before Congress. He's trying to cover his butt because they're claiming that he kind of did some things that were problematic. They're going to analyze this whole payment for order flow situation that evolved there. Where the big firms like Citadel are paying for orders to be sent to their particular market makers, right? So basically what they're trying to argue, and Elizabeth Warren is really diligent about consumer protection, and I like Elizabeth Warren. I mean, for a white woman, she's okay. And I know if you're a white woman, I don't hate you. I just love black women more. So that's what it is. But she's pretty cool. And Elizabeth Warren basically is concerned about this whole payment for order flow arrangement because she basically sees these interactions, these engagements, this sort of pulling in of uninformed investors into the markets as almost potentially manipulative because you've got people that are old school veterans that have been in this game. They've been on this. They know how to make the money, and they're pulling new people in who don't know the basics of what a stock price is supposed to actually look like. They don't know the basics of how markets work. All they know how to do is shake the bones and roll the dice, and then some of them are getting body slammed and slaughtered because they're basically being pulled into a big gigantic casino. And so this payment for order flow situation with Robinhood, where Citadel was paying Robinhood to send all the orders of their clients over to Citadel. That's a little bit potentially problematic because remember, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Somebody always pays the price. So when Robinhood says, "Oh, trade with us, come on, trade with us," like it's free, it won't cost you anything, right? And you're like, "Oh, it's free? You mean I don't have to pay a transaction cost?" No, you don't, but you are paying. You always pay. There's always a price to be paid. Somebody always must pay the price. Nothing's free. Stop it. Especially those, like those of y'all that go to black-owned businesses and you're like, well, if you really care about the black community, then you would be giving your products away for free. No, that doesn't make any sense because they got people. If they have employees to pay, they got to get the money from somewhere. So the price must always be paid by somebody. If you don't pay, somebody else must pay. So when they tell you that it's free, it ain't free. You are paying at some point. And how are you paying? Well, you're paying in what they call the bid-ask spread. The bid-ask spread is where the market maker, Citadel, didn't become worth billions of dollars by being stupid. So they pay to bring the order flow in to get your orders on their platform so they can make money through the spread. They buy their assets for a little bit less than what they sell them for, and they get to make the difference. They make that spread. So in a way, imagine this. It's almost like a person who has a nightclub, right? Think of the stock market like a club, right? Like going to the club. In a club, there are trades. A club is a market, right? So what kind of trades happen? Well, in a club, you're bringing together all the men and you're bringing together the women, and they're getting together and they're hooking up. They're making magic happen, right? So in the club, to make the club pop, to get the club popping, you can't have too many women and you can't have too many men. You want to bring in the men and the women. So maybe what you might do is maybe you'll charge the women a little bit more than you charge the men, but then also you might sell drinks to both the men and the women when they're deciding to get together. So payment for order flow is basically like if I'm the guy who runs the club, right? And I say, hey, you run a university down the street. I will pay you money if you will tell your students to come to my club after the football game. Right? That's what it is. So if they come to my club, because remember, guys are going to be looking for women on Friday nights, right? Women are going to be looking for the best looking men. So if I convince you, to hook up at my club, then I'm going to make money. So payment for order flow is when I'm paying them to tell you to come to my club, and maybe I even let you in for free, right? So that you'll come in and you'll buy drinks, and maybe I'll charge the men money and not charge the women so I can get more women in or whatever, right? So you think of the women like the sellers and the men to be the buyers or whatever the case may be. And at the end of the day, I'm making money because things are happening. Things are popping. Everybody wants to get into my club. People are hooking up, right? And so they all want to come back, right? So that's kind of what payment for order flow is that they've got this big market and they want people to do business through their company, and Citadel ends up making a killing. So the big question becomes ultimately, who's paying the cost for that? Who's getting screwed? And who's actually winning, and how much are they winning, and how transparent is that process? And I think that that's a legitimate question to ask. What I am concerned about, though, is that sometimes the dumb investors cause excessive regulation. So this guy who's filing this lawsuit, I'm going to call him stupid right quick, because you should, or better yet, I'm going to say this: you guys are smart because you listen to me. If you listen to me more than 3 times, you're probably smarter than the average bear, right? So I'm going to say to you, as a smart person, never ever do anything like that. If you sell call options, you should sell what they call covered calls, where you actually own the stock, so that if you lose your money, you can still deliver on the stock and it's not a big deal. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. That's what it is. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. We do a lot of conversations on things like Clubhouse and stuff like that. So if you want to follow me on Clubhouse, there you go. That's also my handle on Parler. I like the Parler app. Now, I don't care if it's conservative or liberal. I'm not into that. I'm black first. I just like Parler because they give me freedom of speech. My Twitter doesn't give me freedom of speech. And y'all know me. I got to tell it like it is, and that's what I'm going to do. So feel free to follow me on Clubhouse, or you can follow me on Twitch, or whatever the case may be. There's my Twitch handle, or you can go to drboystwitch.com. I'm always, you know me, I'm always doing something. So I like talking to you guys. You guys are fun. So hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button on your way out. Thank you for listening. And I will update you as things evolve. And in fact, there's a lot to talk about with Bitcoin too, because Bitcoin just hit 52,000. In fact, let me look at the price of Bitcoin right quick before we bounce out. On Coinbase, Bitcoin right now is at $52,340. And I would not be surprised at all if it hits 55,000 by the end of the week. So today is what? Today is Wednesday? I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin is at 55 to 56,000 by Sunday, because I feel my spidey senses, my financial instincts are telling me that Bitcoin is hitting an inflection point where it's going to really start to take off. But then again, I could be wrong, because what do I know? I just have a PhD. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Please hit the thumbs up button, share button, on the subscribe button on your way out. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Peace.